Hey everybody, welcome back to Bitch with Comrade Misty. I am Comrade Misty. Today I am very excited. I have a friend on the show today who is an amazing activist and organizer. She's good friends with Commander X, so we're going to get an update on that and bitch about what's happening to him because it's bullshit. So Nat, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, of course. So do you want to, just for maybe people who don't know who you are, what you're about, can you tell everybody about your activism, the stuff that you're doing for Julian in Mexico, because you kick ass down there. So for anybody who doesn't know, tell us just a little bit about that.
So I have been an activist for Julian for almost 10 years and for the closure of Guantanamo. That's how I started in activism. And then Chelsea Manning, of course, and Snowden. And I run a page for Julian. It's called Mexico for Julian now. Not now, that's another page, but it used to be called Mexico con Julian, and now I changed the name, but that's my page, and I'm on Twitter in my personal account. And I'm also friends of Commander X, who is now in prison after being handed by the Mexican government. So I think that's it.
Yeah, so what's happening to X is depressing, and it's really frustrating. And so I don't know, maybe I think that my audience probably would kind of know who Commander X is, but maybe we should just give like a brief overview of who he is, what he did, why he's in the position he's in now, just for maybe anybody who isn't familiar.
Well, maybe you can talk about who he is. Maybe you know more about the US background, and then if you want, I can say what happened here and why he was illegally extradited to the US.
So X is kind of, I guess, hacktivist, I guess, I don't know. Member of Anonymous, has done like just a ton of stuff, pissed off some people, trying to do good things for humanity. And, he has kind of been on the run for a long time. I don't know how long it's been. Sleepy, do you know how long? It's been a long time that he's kind of been. Yeah, it's been, I don't know. I was going to say even like 20 years, but I might just be making that shit up in my head. I don't know.
I think he was supposed to be in court 10 years ago, and that was part of the pretext to kidnap him or something. Mm-hmm. And he was here in Mexico for more than, I think, 4 years as a refugee.
Yeah, no. Okay. So yeah. And, he ended up in Mexico. He sought refugee status in Mexico, because the United States was trying to arrest him. And, he was doing fine. He's had some health issues and stuff like that, but he had found a good spot. He had his dogs. He loves his dogs. And so he was doing okay. But then it's been like a month?
This Friday is a month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. About a month ago, he was just chilling, I guess. I mean, maybe you should talk a little bit more about like what actually happened.
So I saw him the Wednesday before, so a month today, and we went to the dentist and we were hanging out. I brought him groceries because where he was living, it was like a small town. He didn't get all his things. He likes like gravy and macaroni and cheese. He enjoys a lot. And we were there with the dogs. And on Friday, I got a call from the landlady, telling me there were police in his home. So I called him, and he said, "Well, yeah, there were some men here in green uniforms." So I told him, "Well, that's army here," and he said that he just told them to fuck off, and they left the property. Of course, he did that, and he showed them the finger and all that. Because he was peacefully living here, but he was always aware that something could happen, but nothing had happened in these years. So this was a new place that I moved him to in February, and no one knew where he was except me. That's so weird about the whole operation. So he was fine, and then a couple of hours later, the same men, the first time they showed DEA IDs, which was really weird too, because I mean, DEA, what were they doing here? But they were Mexican police, they were Mexican men. So I thought it was just like a stupid thing.
Weird.
Yeah, really weird. So a few hours later, they came back. They jumped the fence. They didn't knock the door. They jumped the fence. They were dressed in civilian clothes, and they arrested him. They took the computer, and they got him. So I got a phone call telling me that he was arrested.
Or
So I
kidnapped, however you want to look
kidnapped.
at it.
Yeah, kidnapped. So
Yeah.
I called the lawyer, and we were just trying to find out where he was. And at the beginning, they said he was okay. He even called the lawyer Friday night, and he said, "I'm fine. This is supposedly an immigration thing." So we were like, "Okay, so we will figure this out on Monday because the immigration offices are closed for the weekend, of course." So we went the other day to pick the dogs because they're the most important thing for him in the world. So we got the dogs. And then we went to two different police agencies in Mexico. So one was federal police and the other one state police. And they told us, yeah, we had him, but we handed him to immigration. The thing is, he was no longer here in Mexico. He was illegally extradited in the early morning of Saturday. After he called the lawyer, he was put in a plane and he was flown to the US. So the next day, when we went to pick up the dogs, this guard in the place where he was living, he said they were men from the U.S. embassy here, and we got really scared because what was people from the U.S. embassy doing to arrest someone, like that? And this was a whole operation with federal Mexican agents and all that. So we found out on Saturday that he was no longer in Mexico, and that was when this all sank in, and I was so worried and so sad because we lost him. There was nothing we can do
Right. Yeah.
anymore.
No,
He
I
was
mean,
already in California.
that it's crazy how fast it happened. I mean, it really
Yes.
is. It's literally like a kidnapping.
Mhm.
And he's just absconded off to California. And it's nuts that he's just living like he's not bothering anybody. He's just, and then all of a sudden they're coming for him and taking him to California.
Yeah, he was living a peaceful life. He just spent the days in the computer with his dogs in the garden. He was even friends with some people in town. He loved to buy like roasted chicken. So he already spoke to the guy of the rotisserie, and he was friendly to people there. No one knew who he was, and no one knew where he was living. So I don't know if they had tracked him in the phone or something like that, but
Maybe. I mean, he had just
uh,
started a show. Like I was just on his show. It
mhm.
was maybe like a week or two before maybe it's longer than that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I was
probably
in the
since the
same
time.
show,
Yeah. Yeah.
before
No,
you.
we missed
Yeah,
each other. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah. I was sad that we
but
missed each other.
yes, but I mean, I'm really sad because I'm really angry at the Mexican government because he was a refugee here and they just gave him away.
Yeah.
I,
That's really fucked up. It's
yeah,
really fucked up.
and the CIA director was here weeks before. Then Kamala was here a few days
Mm-hmm.
before, and after he was rendered to the U.S., the guy of like the secretary of security, I don't know his name, was visiting Mexico too. So this was all important people from the U.S. government coming here just before days and after he was rendered to the U.S. So this is all very weird to me, and I
It
don't
is weird.
understand
Why do they
how.
want it? Like, why do you think they want him? Like, what? I mean, what's your opinion? Why do you think they're coming after him now?
Well, I have no idea because I thought, I mean, he was retired. He was not doing any even activism here. He even tweeted like he wasn't allowed to give an opinion on the Mexican elections, which he was allowed to. The thing you can do in the constitution here, it says you can be part of a protest. You can go to the streets and make riots or something like that. But he said like I won't be giving any opinions on this because the Mexican constitution says I shouldn't give any opinion on the Mexican elections. So he stayed quiet. He spoke well about the Mexican government all the time. I used to visit him and I was bitching about Lopez Obrador, the Mexican president. And he was always like, no, he's a nice guy. Even the day he got kidnapped, I sent him a sticker of Lopez Obrador giving a hug. And we always joked about that. Of course, then I felt like shit because we sent him that sticker. But that was my last message, the stupid sticker of Lopez Obrador. And I said, I will keep you safe. So I feel like shit because I'm feeling very guilty. I didn't keep him safe. I was his closest friend here, and so I have been very, very sad about all
Yeah.
this.
I can't, I mean, I mean, I know X, but I don't know him anywhere near as well as you do. And it's like it's heavy. It's heavy because he does have health issues. Like he was doing better, but he does have, he's getting older. He's got really serious health issues. And to think of him like being stuck in a prison is just really depressing. And I mean, I don't, so do we have like a court date? I know it was supposed to be like what, the 20 something?
July 20.
20.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today, the Free Commander X account announced that they were going to have a protest in California for him, and they're asking for solidarity events. So of course,
Steve's in the
I'm
chat
there.
actually. I don't know if he's still around, but yes, Steve's organizing that. Steve and Gloria
Yes,
organizing
Steve
that.
is organizing that, and of course, I'm going to be in the U.S. Embassy that day. I think it's. I mean, in the show, we missed each other. He was telling people about me being outside the British Embassy with crutches because I had hip surgery, and I go often to the British Embassy to protest for Julian, and now I have to do this for my friend, and it sucks because I'm used to doing this for Julian, and I will do it as long as I have to, but I didn't want to do this for X. Like having him in prison and so far away, and I don't know if this is an easy case for the lawyer that has been assigned to him, but
to deal with it,
to deal with that, I don't know if it's far more complicated than I can possibly understand. I don't understand.
Well, it doesn't even
laws.
really matter. I mean, just look at Julian's case. Like they don't have a case, but he's still in prison, so it really doesn't even matter if it's like an easy case. It's just a matter of do they want to keep him or not.
They want to keep you there, and they will keep you there. So the only thing we can do is take care of the dogs. They are perfectly fine. They are being cared by a very nice person. They have a permanent home here. They are getting treatment for behaving. They're like wild dogs. They are very cute because they're very small, and the smallest one has like a sombrero now. And they are very happy dogs here. So I hope my messages to X about his dogs are getting to him, because he's very worried about the dogs. I'm sure.
Yeah. Seriously, when we say that he loves his dogs, that's like the understatement of the century. He loves his dogs. They're like children for him. So
they're his boys.
They are his boys. Yeah.
He adopted them. He rescued them from the streets, and they are very alike. They are very nervous dogs. And X has PTSD. He's a nervous person and an anxious person like me. So we got along perfectly because of that. We understood each other. And the dogs are like a mirror of him in so many ways, in good things too, of course. But I'm sure they miss him very much too. But they're really, really happy here now, and they won't be abandoned. I will always take care of them.
Well, and I think that even I know that you're worried that X is getting the message that his dogs are taken care of. I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure that he knows that you are going to take care of them. You know what I mean? He knows you well enough to know that that's a priority.
Yes. He made me promise. He said, if anything happens someday, please swear that you're going to take care of the dogs. And I'm like, you don't even have to ask. I mean, I don't have children. It's the same for me. I have my 2 cats and my dog, and they're like my children. So he knows that I love animals, and I would never leave them abandoned or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think he definitely knows that. But Steve, I'm sorry, I keep ignoring you. Do you want, is it okay if I ask Steve to jump in real quick so he can talk about that event? Yes. Steve, if you're around, Sleepy Josh maybe can send you the link, but just so everybody knows what the event is, because I guess I could just pull it up. I'm terrible at multitasking though when I'm talking to people.
I'll send them the link.
Yeah, but I just, so people know what that event is for X, so people can get out to it. But yeah,
yes,
so
please organize.
Yeah, and Steve's doing the one in California, but it's not it's just like for Assange stuff. We say this all the time. Just go, if it's you on a sidewalk with a poster board, there you go. I mean, that's all it really takes.
That's me. It's always only me. So
but throw Free Commander X on a poster board and go stand somewhere, in a view of a lot of people, and that alone is helpful. I mean, I don't think people realize how helpful that kind of stuff really is. I mean, even just in your little town, getting eyes on on an issue or something that you care about is helpful, because somebody's going to go home and look that up. Somebody's going to, what the hell is that about? And they're going to, maybe somebody will stop by and ask you about it. And that's, I mean, that's how everybody, you have to start on everything, really.
Yeah,
Spook
and
Gang's in the house. Hi, Poikinen.
hi.
How you doing, dude?
What's happening? Oh shit! Let me turn
Yeah.
off the thing.
I was
God
like, I can
damn.
hear myself. I
It's
hate
been
being
a
able to hear
long
myself.
couple of weeks, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm out of it.
I feel you. You need to take like a day off, like just, or maybe even just like, I don't know, 4 hours.
Go on vacations.
Just take
Take
like
a vacation to Mexico, Nat.
I got home. I did Union of the Unwanted. I had passed out like 3 hours later and slept for 11 hours, maybe.
nice. At least you got some sleep. I like that.
And then went to Santa Cruz and met Keith McHenry, and we met with Keith McHenry and started planning this event.
Okay, so tell us about it, because we're trying to hype it up and get other people to do some shit in their own neck of the woods. So it's on the 20th.
Yeah, so Tuesday, July 20th, we're doing it at noon. It's really up to everybody else if they're going to hold a solidarity event to do time it whenever you want to. But noon, because the court appearance is at 9 o'clock in the morning, and X is one of the last people to go alphabetically. So even if he hasn't exactly gone yet, there will be a recess break, and a lot of those people will have to walk right by us while we're doing it. We're going to hold this at the Robert Peckham Federal Court building in downtown San Jose. It's 280 South First Street is the address. I just watched the camera do something hella weird. It was not me, I promise. Like, I've actually been abstaining from a lot of things.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, did you overdo your microdose today?
No, man, not even on purpose have I not been doing the microdose regimen. I've been too fucking busy and like.
Okay, yeah. Nat and I were just talking about this, and I'm like, I think he's on camera like 16 hours a day or some shit. It's like, do you ever sleep?
I don't know how you do it.
It's been hectic the last couple years. But it's been particularly hectic ever since X got kidnapped.
Yeah.
Because not only were we already in the middle of doing a shit ton of Assange stuff, but there is a very limited number of people, mostly for security purposes, who can be a part of the X defense campaign. I mean, that dude has a lot of friends, but he doesn't just have a lot of friends.
Right.
I mean, we had our initial GoFundMe taken down. We've had attacks on the Free Commander X website. Anonymous Worldwide got fucked with. It's been interesting navigating the I don't know, the really weird minefield that is the lives that have been, normally in an only purely positive way, but affected by Commander X, because people have short memories and allegiances flip a lot. And especially like an international community of digital activists and hacktivists, like a lot of different personalities involved. So noon, 280 South First Street in San Jose, California. That's where we'll be holding our main protest. There will also be, I'm 99.9% sure, a simultaneous rally in Santa Cruz, where X had his initial digital protest and sort of came into the persona that is Commander X, and that's where Keith McHenry ran back into him for the first time since a Food Not Bombs line in San Francisco in the 90s. So we are absolutely encouraging. Here, I'll just pull up the
Yeah.
we haven't issued it. We haven't released it yet.
The graphic?
No,
Is that what
well,
you're
not
talking
the graphic, but the
about?
press
Oh.
release. I'll pull up the
Oh,
graphic
okay.
too, in a
Yeah,
moment.
I thought I saw the graphic already because it's cool.
Yeah. No, Steve Cutler.
I know Steve Cutler's great, dude. The other day, I forget, I think it was on Bitch, maybe, or no, it was a Vigil. And I was talking about Krish Mohan. Did we ever tell you about the John Shipton saying that Krish Mohan was a hoot? He's a hoot. And that made us, obviously, because we're stoners, that made us giggle. And we're like, we need a Krish Mohan owl. Like, I want a shirt because you guys know I love shirts. I'm like, I need a shirt with a Krish Mohan owl that says he's a hoot. And like before the Vigil was even over, Steve Cutler had a design. Like, here you go. Like, that was amazing. Ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah, no, he's awesome like that. And while we were online yesterday with ABB when we were announcing the protest and we were trying to um, just sort of figure out what we were going to say and how we were going to say it, I was DMing Steve. And by the end of the show, not only did he have a graphic up, but he also had a link to a website where Lucky Burrito is making Assange necklaces and selling them at like a
Yeah.
ridiculously low price as a means of fundraising, not just for them, but for like us too when we go hold these events and do this activism. So here's the first protest or the first flyer as we get speakers confirmed and as people confirm with us that they are having solidarity actions, we will add that information to the flyer. That's why that bottom third has been left blank. And then I will do this here because we haven't put it out yet. So I will break something.
Yay. Break it, homie.
On Bitch. So here's the press release that we'll be putting out. This is going to go out to basically every media outlet, and I've got to include a couple of quotes so it's still in the works. Whoa, Jesus, that was fast. So the Commander X defense team, along with U.S. and international activists and organizations, will participate in a global day of action to demand freedom for Christopher Doyen, aka Commander X, as well as to highlight the U.S. Department of Justice's ongoing targeting of citizens who serve the Constitution by, God damn it, engaging in acts of protest, civil disobedience, journalism, and coming forward with information vital to public knowledge. Christopher Doyen received protected refugee status from President Obrador of Mexico in 2019. And June 11th, he was removed from his home and delivered to U.S. Marshals, who in turn dragged him back to the U.S., violating his status and issuing charges related to, and I have to update that because we just got the indictment. See, look, aren't you guys glad that I haven't released this yet and I'm breaking it? Orange County.
You have to add Lopez before Obrador because it's his first last name. We use two last names here. Well, sorry for the comment.
See?
Okay.
See?
Yeah.
Nat's
So-
even helping you out.
Yeah,
You got yourself an editor.
without the hype.
Not weird just calling that guy fuckstick.
Yeah,
I don't think he wants to put that in his press release,
I
Sleepy.
fucking hate this guy, but
Yeah, no, really can't do that in a press release. Quote from Keith, pertinent details, contact, and there you have it. And that's really all that we're gonna have hopefully a quote from Ian Thornton on this, who directed the documentary, of which the poster is behind Nat right there.
Yeah.
And then Keith Lubers is going to throw something on there, and since for good or ill, I'll be the campaign team member on the ground for that one. I'm going to throw a quote on that. And we're going to blast as many media outlets as we can get contact information for. So if you want SND show at Proton Mail if you've already got a compiled list of media outlets, because I know that a number of people that watch our stuff do. Send that to me. And I will thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and y'all are the real heroes. People who do that are the real heroes, because I'm not organized enough for that.
I can translate it, Steve, if you want. And of course, the media here keeps ignoring this, but we can send it to the media here. I mean,
Good deal.
Yeah.
And again, so we're encouraging that when people hold solidarity actions, they do it of locations of significance, like a Mexican consulate, like a U.S. embassy. If you aren't, if in a town where something like that exists, pick a media outlet or pick any sort of government, county, city government building. That'll work. I would recommend a media outlet. Almost everybody has a local media of some sort, even if it's goddamn radio station. Like, get out there in front of it and make some noise.
Well, I will be in the U.S. embassy, of course. I mean, I will be there for X.
Yeah, and if you live in like some podunk town, that's fine. I kind of do. Just grab yourself a poster board and go stand somewhere where most of the people drive by. Everybody can get out there and do something, or make phone calls or whatever. I mean, I don't know how you guys know I'm not like super big into I do the phone calls and the emails and all that bullshit. I don't think it's all that effective, but it's a tool that we have and it's super easy to do. I mean, I can make like 5 political phone calls in 10 minutes.
So here's something that someone pretty close to X threw my way, and that is there's a live link for the video feed to the courtroom, to the X's court appearance. So if we can get hundreds, thousands of different computers logging on to this live event, it sends a very strong message to the prosecution, to the Justice Department, that this isn't going to be ignored, that we're not going to sleep on them targeting and persecuting activists, especially those who have protected status.
But is this going to work outside the U.S. or is it the same bullshit as the phone calls? Or
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah, because Nat can't even call X.
What I would suggest is trying to at least connect with a VPN with a US IP.
Okay. I don't know how to do that, but I will figure it out.
We were just talking about how
I can barely turn on my computer. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm very technologically challenged. So
Sleepy, we need to send Nat. We need to send Nat that
it's
meme.
only because Sleepy.
Yes, Josh, can you help me, please?
Sleepy needs to send that meme to Nat. Because seriously, he understands. Like I'm the same way. If I I've said it a million times. If I remember my password to my email, I feel like a member of Anonymous. Like I am very proud of myself. I did a computer thing.
That's how I feel when I use Wire.
I'm so bad, y'all. I really am. Like I'm so dumb about computer stuff. It's painful. Painful. Oh
yeah. Please help me, Josh. So I know. I can try
need like
to
a remedial class.
I will help.
Present.
I can once I figure it out, like I'm a quick learner. It's just I don't really know how to start myself like in the right, you know what I'm saying? And I just get overwhelmed and so I just panic and I stop. That's how that works.
It's frustrating.
Yes. Yeah. And it's just anytime that I'm really terrible at something, I immediately want to quit.
I feel you.
I don't like being bad at stuff. So, it's probably not healthy, but here we are. Okay. So,
I don't know, man. Look, dude, think of how better off we would be if everybody that was bad at stuff quit at it. Think of how much better politicians we would have.
Yeah. Like, for example, I went to play golf one time. I made it 4 holes. Done. Nope. Never played golf again.
So, statute of limitations is run out on this, so I can tell this story.
All right. I like when stories start like that.
when I was I think 16, me and a number of people who I am not about to name, because who knows, they may be respectable citizens now, I'm not sure. We've fallen out of touch, so that's a pretty good sign that they are respectable citizens now. at any rate, we're all in the same real football team, and we decided that one day where there was a par 3 golf course, which is just short distance to green. Every hole is a par 3. It's basically like a warm up or a beginner course kind of thing. Nothing significantly difficult about it. Little sand here and there, some sloping hills. And we thought it would be a great idea at 16 to smuggle in as much beer and whiskey as possible, with a little bit of mushrooms and a whole bunch of weed. And all 4 of us were blacked out by the 4th, if not 6th tee. Nobody was playing golf. We were golf cart jousting with clubs that tried to beat the crap out of each other with the business end of a golf club. While we're passing each other on carts, we tipped one, batteries spilled out, not acid, but water all over my friend Chris's leg, dude. And he howled like a fucking banshee because he really thought that his leg flesh was getting seared off. I mean, comedy. We somehow just brought the carts back, dropped them off, and managed to bounce without anyone going, "Hey, wait a sec." And to this day, I have no idea if that's because we all just dead ass acted like we did not hear them, or if it didn't happen, or if we were like, yeah. No recollection of that bit. The various individuals involved in this escapade remembered different parts, and there have been a couple of times, especially when we were college age and shit, that we would see each other. This would come up, and we were at one point able to piece together some of it, but that's about the extent of my golfing experience.
Yours is way cooler than mine. I just played 4 holes and got pissed off because I sucked real bad and quit. That's all it was. I was so mad.
Yeah, you
but
should try getting blacked out next time. You can at least blame it on that.
Right. Well, and if nothing else, at least that's a good time. I mean, that just sounds like a good time, that sounds much better than playing golf. So, I think doing anything fucked up is a little bit better, it's just a little bit more fun. Does anybody else have an echo, or is that just me?
Sorry,
no, I've heard a slight
one. You're fine.
Nothing.
Okay. All right. So everybody make it out on the 20th. If you can find a spot to go, make some noise about this. We need more people talking about it. Obviously, yes, Julian Assange is a big deal. And I would like to bitch about what's happening to Julian Assange too. Steve, you can stay if you want to. I don't know if you're busy or if you have other shit going on, but
I'll hang out for a minute. I'm going to do a live stream here in a bit.
Okay.
2 hours from now though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I want to bitch about what's happening to Julian because today they gave, what'd they call it? Partial approval? Not partial approval. What the fuck did they call it?
Limited. It
limited.
Was
Thank
limited.
you.
I was like, what do you do? Why do you use that word?
Yes.
They're going to go full mode on that. But it was limited access.
Yeah,
or
limited appeal. And basically what that means is that they're only allowed to appeal certain aspects, and they're not allowed to challenge the medical part of it, I think.
Like the mental health issues, right?
Right. Yeah, they're not allowed. They're not allowed to challenge based on that. But they are being allowed to appeal, which just means that they're dragging this out even further, which just means that Julian Assange is sitting in essentially purgatory in a supermax prison for even longer. And it's beyond ridiculous. I mean, I know we've been saying this the whole time. Somebody said earlier today that the case has fallen apart. The case hasn't fallen apart. There was never a case. It's blowing up in their faces that they didn't have a case now. It's becoming more apparent, but they've never had a case. And the fact that he's still in prison and, we still have to do this despite the fact that, the Siggy Thordarson thing came out and the, all of this shit is just, it's the UC Global, and it's unbelievable that this is still happening. I don't even have words anymore for how fucking stupid this is, and nobody's talking about it.
Did you read the bullshit that the Independent printed about the U.S. saying, no, we're not going to have him in the Supermax prison. He's
Yeah.
going to be just
Yes.
fine. Yeah, we trust you. Of course, we know you are going to keep your word on this. I'm like, really? Why would you print that? Even because it's not going to be true.
You can still be put under special administrative
Yes.
measures in any fucking detention center that you're in.
He's going to be
So-
tortured anywhere.
It doesn't matter where he goes. It doesn't matter what prison he goes to. I mean, he could go to some like nice, cushy, like federal prison or something, and they will find a way to torture him.
Yeah,
once he's here,
the spa they were promising, like he can have pencils and crayons and
craft time.
Craft time. Yeah.
We're gonna let this motherfucker knit one day.
He might even get a color TV. Like, come on, guys. This is basically like a resort.
We got a paper mache project. We think is right up his
We're
alley.
going to teach you how to crochet.
Christmas.
Oh, no. They probably wouldn't do crochet because you can't give prisoners sharp objects.
Right.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, but I mean, and the fact that like the United States is like, oh, just trust us. Well, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
really?
sure.
You're the United States. Fuck off.
You never torture people. You never torture some thugs,
Yeah. Oh,
Our esteemed Beards for Assange founder, Ray McGovern.
Ray McGovern, Grandpa Ray.
A spiritual advisor to me and a wonderful human being. He's got a great article out about this in Anti-War. And what it basically does is it connects exactly what is happening to Julian right now with this, limited appeal extension process to the Stratfor emails from back in the day, where it was, instead of Ray makes the point, instead of move him from country to country, it's now move him from court to court.
Yeah.
And everything else applies, target him, target his family, target everyone who ever worked for WikiLeaks, bleed them dry. The only thing that the entities that have been persecuting Julian haven't been able to touch is WikiLeaks' Bitcoin. But look at how much damage has been done to Bitcoin since Joe Biden got back in office.
Yeah.
Now, I have a theory, and I have a fair amount of evidence to back this up, that the Biden administration is hell-bent on settling old scores from the Obama era, because we've now got Merrick Garland trying to pretend like there's absolutely nothing he can do in terms of ending the prosecution. There's absolutely nothing Tony Blinken can do to dissuade the DOJ as head of state. There's absolutely nothing that anyone can do because, well, golly, we started this and
we got to let it play out.
There's just no way on paper for us to stop it. We can't just drop the charges. We can't issue a preemptive pardon. We can't do any of these things that we've done for so many other legal cases throughout our history, because with this one case, it's our hands are tied.
Right? It's amazing. Everybody's hands are tied.
Notice how literally fucking cowardly they all are about it.
Yeah. No, another thing that drives me nuts. Finally, a French journalist is asking questions. Like, it takes, the president of Azerbaijan and some French journalist to ask the United States and the UK about what the fuck's happening with Julian Assange. Where is our media? Like, it's unreal. It's not unreal because, we live in a cartoon, but it is unbelievably frustrating that this is happening, and nobody, forget the fact that it's another journalist, it's the future of your profession, it's all of these things. It's a story. Like, your job as a journalist is to report the news, and this is a massive fucking story, and nobody's talking about it. And to me, that seems like more people should be weirded out by that. Like, why is nobody talking about it? I will say that independent media has certainly upped its game recently. We, like, Jackson Hinkle did a story about it, and like Jordan Chariton's been tweeting about it, and like people who don't ordinarily talk about it a lot are now finally starting to talk about it a little bit more, which is good to see. And shout out to Russell Brand, who just did a video on it that was released today. That was cool. We've been trying to get him for a while, so Gay Russell Brand.
Okay.
And here in Mexico, the
No,
media is
I
still
like
ignoring
that.
everything.
Like that guy's able to fucking like condense this shit down into a really understandable way that people actually get. So
No,
like,
his video that he put out today was really good. Like it's
like
good.
even his Great Reset stuff, like it, like
Mhm.
yeah, it's not super in depth, but like it's definitely good enough to be like, hey, wait a minute, and people.
It's introductory. Like he's very good at taking a very complex topic and making it like for the uninitiated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like
super good
piquing
at it.
people's interest. And I have to give credit. I hate to do it because Ryan Grimm is an absolute muppet. But he did do a really good, I don't know what they call it on that show, radar, I think. Like he has like a radar, like it's like a monologue basically. But he broke down the case based on the actual charges and why all of the charges are bullshit. He explained it very well. It's a pretty good introductory too. Like if you have somebody who doesn't really know anything about it or is confused, he did a pretty good job of breaking it down. I have to get, it's boring as shit. Like he's boring as shit, but it is pretty good about, you know, explaining what all of the different counts are in the indictment. So
you know how worrying it is that someone is troubling, especially someone with like frequent authoritarian leanings, as Ryan Grimm is being heralded as like this celebratory voice for free press.
right.
Like it that kind of shit worries me, dude.
It
Like,
worries me too.
And that's, you know, I say it all the time because it's true, is that everybody is on a path and nobody is on the exact same part of their path as you are. Like, it's just pretty fucking impossible. So we can't, like, I'm in no way, shape, or form shitting on anyone who's watching Ryan Grimm. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is bemoaning the fact that we don't have better ambassadors in that space. So we should recognize that dude's playing a part for us, even though he's also playing a larger and more significant part for narrative management. And it's just this really careful navigation of how to engage with people who are of a mindset that, like, oh, well, golly, he's right about everything.
Right.
You know, because how do you square that with what he said about the gray zone dudes? And I've got my own issues with all of them, but like, how do you square that with what he said
Without
about
free press, he couldn't say none of that shit either. So
Right.
right?
No,
Like,
he.
how do
I
you
don't
square
like the
that?
guy, but like free press, I mean, it's going to affect everyone, even the
Mhm.
shitty ones that, you know, do kind of crappy work.
Right?
No, and it's a balancing act too of like you know, like when he does something like the video that he put out today. I don't like Ryan Grimm, but it's a good video and I think it's a good resource. Is it perfect? Of course not, but I think it's a pretty decent breakdown of the indictment, and you know, so that's worth sharing. But you also have to know that it's Ryan fucking Grimm, and he is not to be trusted in any way. The fact that he works at the Intercept alone disqualifies him from trust.
His name is on 2 of the most high-profile burned whistleblowers by the Intercept.
Yeah.
2 of
I have
those
no
fuckers.
time really for Ryan Grimm. Like, but see, that's the thing though. I'm big enough to be like, oh, this person I don't like did something that's good. And so
Yeah,
I'm going, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to talk about that. Like, that's okay. Like when Tucker
Yeah.
Carlson does a great segment on Julian Assange or on some anti-imperialist, has Anya Parampil on to talk about Venezuela or something great, then you should be able to say, hey, that's a great thing he just did. That doesn't mean you trust him. That doesn't mean you co-sign everything he ever did or said, or, you know what I mean? Like, but people don't have the ability to think like that. It's like, if somebody is bad to them, then everything that they do and say is bad. And if somebody's good, then everything that person does or says is good. And it's the most ridiculous infantile thought process that I can even imagine. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Oh, it's so bad. Like this cult of personality bullshit. You know, we've been seeing it like with the March for Medicare for All. Like these it doesn't matter who you, first of all, these people are all just disruptors and they just are trying to figure out a way to prevent any movement for healthcare from actually happening. But to like start nitpicking every single guest and like digging through their past and their history to like try to find something to be outraged about, it's so dumb. I don't even know what that is, man. But you know, that's where we're at in our political discourse. It sucks. It really does. But yeah,
messaging Jones about the
Glory Jones. I love Glory Jones. But yeah, the Assange thing I think is going to be interesting because y'all, how do they keep this up? I mean, how can they keep this up? Like it's just so comically apparent that they don't have anything. Like they have nothing. They really don't. There's no case there. And whatever like little bit of a case they managed to manufacture has completely imploded over the past couple of weeks. So it's amazing to me still that people are not freaking the fuck out about this.
And also that there is no date, right? For the, like, to present the appeal or to.
No, and
so,
this
like
is something
they're going
that,
I mean, he can be 4 more years in prison and the appeal can be there waiting for the second term of Biden. I hope it doesn't happen, but you know.
They've got like a date that they have to file by, and that's a number of months out, and then they can extend it, and then they'll have another 30 days or another 90 days. Like, but it can go for about 2 years.
That's what I was going to ask.
Sees the inside of a courtroom again, and this is something that Kevin Gostola and I were talking about right after the no extradition verdict came out, and that was it can be death by appeals.
But that's according to this is a stupid question, but this is according to the British laws, or this is like, of course, an instruction from the U.S. government, or this is British.
It's
British
both.
laws that the appeals can go for 5 years without.
It's both.
Being
that's British law. That's the process. But they're also being instructed by the United States to drag this out for as long as possible.
So here's how the process works. The U.S. said we would like to file for an appeal, and a panel of magistrates convenes. And they look at the appeal. They determine whether or not the appeal has standing. If the appeal has standing, in this case limited, then they can go forward with the appeal. But had they decided, no, there's no standing to this, the U.S. can immediately request to file another appeal.
Another appeal and another one.
Over and 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 over
for 10 years
until they run out of items to quibble with in that. No, so they're limited to what the judge ruled against, which was, you know, no extradition for health reasons because, and we know the becauses to all of those. So that's the only thing the U.S. gets to argue is U.S. prison conditions, Julian's mental health, and Julian's ability or determination to take his own life while inside a U.S. prison. So that's it. That's all they get to argue. So what they can do theoretically is knowingly file meritless appeal after meritless appeal until one sticks,
or until they successfully murder him through process. That's it. I think that's essentially what they're hoping for. I mean, we're watching a slow motion execution. They're hoping that they can just grind this man down into a pulp until he just can't take it anymore. And either he finds a way to, you know, take care of himself, or his body just shuts down. Because he's in horrendous conditions. I mean, like 23 hours in a cell by himself. He's only allowed out into like another cell to exercise or whatever. He has very limited contact with the outside world. He's just now been able to see his partner a couple of times. You know, he's unable to see his kids. He can't meet with his lawyers. He can't participate in his own defense. He can't. I mean, it's like this just shithill of just human rights abuse after human rights abuse. And it's just allowed to continue. I mean, all winter long, they wouldn't give him his warm clothes, and he was insulating his window with books. And the process is the punishment. That's what they're doing here. And it's also sending a message too. It's not just about punishing him. It's that they're doing this kind of so out in the open, albeit very quietly, because mainstream media isn't covering it, but they want the chilling effect to take hold. They want people, they don't want anybody to ever do what Julian Assange did again. They want to really, really, really make sure that is discouraged at like a visceral level, really. And that's where we're at. And it sucks because they've done such a good job of smearing him over the past decade that people don't care. We can't get anybody to care. I have seen since the story broke about the key witness recanting basically his entire testimony. I have seen people, at least on Twitter, have seemed more open and intrigued. And I've noticed more people are retweeting Assange stuff that I don't normally see retweeting it. So I think that's been like one of those watershed moments where I think maybe we're poking through a little bit.
But why doesn't that have an impact and like big enough to change? I mean, some people's minds, but I mean the process. I mean, they should be just like thrown out immediately. I mean,
because there's no political will in the United States to do it, and there's only minimal political will in
across the globe.
UK Parliament. There's now a sort of sort of gathering of strength among UK parliamentarians, Aussie parliamentarians. There have been a number of EU nation states whose governing bodies have put forth like hey, that's fucked up and you shouldn't do it about it. And but here, zero political.
Zero. We can't even get progressive politicians to say his name. To just say his name.
And where is this guy, the stupid key witness? Where is this guy?
Iceland.
And he's just happily living life, just like nothing ever happened.
Pedophiling around.
He's not even going to jail for falsifying any.
Well, the U.S. might get pissed at him and try and find evidence of the crimes that he was committing while he had immunity for his
because he's an informant,
there might be some retaliation there, but it definitely won't be what he deserves.
Yes, Nat. He's an informant. They gave him immunity to falsify testimony against Julian Assange. He lied to them, misrepresented his position within WikiLeaks. He was just like some low-level volunteer. He tried to pretend like he was like the second in line at WikiLeaks, and he's like the assistant something. And
I read about this guy.
And convicted for impersonating Julian Assange
and embezzling money
from WikiLeaks.
Over $50,000.
He was talking to Sabu. In a fucking IRC, these two paid FBI informants are talking to each other. Siggy is pretending to be Julian Assange. Oh, you should go hack these people. Sabu goes, oh, okay, I'll make sure and get my crew on. And like it's these two rats talking to each other, trying to make it look like there's a direct link between Anonymous and WikiLeaks. And the link is that the two people that the FBI put in to infiltrate and destabilize the organization became buddies. That's the fucking link.
Yeah. Like these people are trash. Like Adrian Lamo did to, like it was the same with Chelsea Manning, right? That I mean, he pretended to be priest or whatever.
Yeah, this guy is like the definition of scumbag. Like he is, convicted child molester. He's he's got like a laundry list of crimes that he's been convicted of. He's like a career criminal. He's a diagnosed sociopath, and that's not to like say that all sociopaths like don't come for me. I'm not like there's no ableism here. I'm just saying that this is the kind of person who they decided to give immunity to in order to try to essentially frame Julian Assange, like this kind of unstable, known shitbag who's, molesting children and, embezzling money.
The FBI will hire.
That's who they're willing to work with. Yeah.
I want to know why he like recanted. Like, what the fuck happened? That's weird to me.
I'm curious about that too. Like, I'm wondering what purpose that serves for him. Yeah.
No, it does. It has to. That guy doesn't do anything for anybody else.
No. And maybe it's just like him putting a thumb in the eye of the FBI. Like, okay, I'm done. Like, we're done. So I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe the FBI didn't deliver enough children to him or something.
Right? No. Either Josh is 100% on this. Either he felt slighted by the FBI, or he's been somehow leveraged by an entity more powerful than the FBI.
Yeah. But it is, Nat's right. It's amazing that this isn't enough to just have it all thrown out. Like, if we lived in a sane world, the day that this story came out,
global thing would have
I know. I know.
it with every shred of rule of law, be it UK, US, Swedish, Ecuadorian, Australian, or international, has been trampled the fuck on, and it's paved the fucking way for every single incarcerated journalist and incarcerated activist and fucking targeted whistleblower and currently incarcerated whistleblower fucking since. And there are so many people who knew that years ago, like Orb Queen, Marianne Williamson, who's so fucking proud of herself for having an opinion today.
Yeah.
Like, cool, dude, you did something when you knew you would suffer zero political consequences for it. How brave.
Okay.
Thanks,
I agree with you. I'll exploit her platform. She does have a big platform. And so if she's going to be on the right side of things now, I'm willing to use her for that. But yeah, fuck her. She's had to be dragged along to this position. And, she puts out this tweet today that, oh, I can't believe that you can consider yourself progressive and not speak out for Julian Assange. Well, you did that for fucking years, dude. And, so maybe instead of these... Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Having Jimmy Dore had to like give you a rundown or a beat down to like get you right, like at least start changing your mind on Julian Assange. I just wish she would acknowledge the fact that she's had to take this journey, because somebody called her out on it earlier today on Twitter, and she was like, there's been no change of heart. Yes, there fucking has. You're on camera talking about like trashing Julian Assange and cheering on kind of what's happening to him. So like, yes, I welcome you aboard. Like I've always said, I will welcome anybody aboard, even people that hate me and that I hate, or that we don't get along, or if you're like one of the stalker squad, if you get it now and you want to help, start fighting for Julian Assange and press freedom, I welcome you aboard. We don't have to work directly together, but I welcome you aboard. And it's the same with Marianne Williamson. I welcome her support now, but just be honest about the fact that you had to take a journey on this, because
that shit's never gonna happen.
I know, because she's an opportunist. And that's what bothers me about Marianne Williamson. She goes whichever direction the wind blows. She's like this on a multitude of issues. It's like she changes her mind on things based on, what popular opinion is for that day. And I don't like people like that. And so, yeah, I'll exploit her for her platform. And I'm grateful to her for talking about Julian Assange now, because it does get a lot more eyes on it. And so, yes, great, cool. But I don't trust you. And if she would just be honest and be like, listen, I had the wrong opinion about this years ago. I have, worked really hard. Yes, but I've done the work, and I've, really opened my mind, and like, that's helpful. It's like when Nils Melzer did that, when Nils Melzer like openly said, listen, I bought into the bullshit. I bought into the propaganda. I forced myself to look at the evidence, and I changed my mind. That is so helpful when somebody says that, and when they admit that they were wrong, like Sarah Palin doing that, when she was like, listen, I was wrong. This is wrong. That's so helpful. And it's much better than, lying to people and pretending like you were always on the right side of the issue. You weren't. You were not. So don't play like you were. It's just, I hate that disingenuous bullshit. It drives me crazy. It's okay to take a journey. It's okay to be wrong and then admit you. In fact, that's way cooler than lying about it. I respect
would go
people.
out and buy her books right now.
Yeah.
If she would have said, okay, look, here's what happened. I wound up getting involved in the Stephen Donziger movement, and I met Roger Waters, and Roger Waters schooled the fuck out of me on Julian Assange, because she didn't go to the Assange events until after she had done that thing with Donziger, where Roger Waters was there and Chris Hedges was there, and there were a couple other people. that have been incredibly vocal and have been incredibly supportive, no matter whether it was popular or not. And so if that was the story, that would be a fucking badass story.
Yeah.
Like Roger Waters.
I would immediately love her.
Yo, like, I'm buying your book.
Yeah.
You know, or
I don't
at
even
least
believe
your
in that
next
shit.
one. I'm, sus of the ones that have come out before this, but
Right.
your next one, dude, I'm gonna pre-order that shit. You know,
but I would
like,
certainly be more supportive of her, and I would praise the shit out of her for doing that. It's hard for me to praise somebody who's being dishonest. Like, again, I welcome your support, but don't try to play like you were always there and directly lie to people when they call you out about it. It is way
all I
cooler.
want from any supporter, no matter where they are in their support, is to highlight events that are taking place to raise awareness about this, to promote the activism that has occurred and will occur about it. I don't care if you show up. I don't. I really don't. We need the boost. And if you do show up, show up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's, and again, it's really frustrating to me that we have to beg these people in the first place. Like, the fact that we have to, fight with people who claim to be progressive and like drag them along, and try to get them to be right on this issue. It's still mind boggling to me that Sarah Palin came out in defense of Julian Assange before Bernie Sanders. If you would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have laughed hysterically. That's crazy. But here we are. Bernie Sanders still to this day, since Julian Assange has been arrested, has never once mentioned his name. Not one time.
And
he talks about Navalny all the time.
Everybody falls back on that one tweet he put out when the first indictment came out.
Don't even fucking start with me. Oh,
Bernie's full-throated support of Julian.
Didn't even mention his goddamn name, and it took him 44 days to come out with some completely vague ass bullshit. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I hate that so much. It drives me crazy. It's the same mentality of he shifted the conversation. The conversation doesn't do shit. It does not do shit.
What did he say?
So 44 days after Julian was arrested. 44 days after Julian Assange was arrested, he put out this really vague ass statement about Donald Trump shouldn't be allowed to decide who's a journalist or something. It's a threat to the First Amendment. Doesn't mention Julian by name. He
wasn't referring to him. He just
generally speaking, yes. And it's a completely bullshit statement. And every time you criticize Bernie on that, here come his stands to be like, oh, well, here's the time where he said this. And it's one statement, took 44 days to come out with, doesn't even mention him by name. And I'm supposed to be impressed by that.
They were doing that at the home run event in LA. And look, dude, John Shipton is the most soft-spoken man on the planet. And the organizers of that event didn't have so much as a fucking oil funnel for him to talk into to amplify his voice. It was held outdoors on the lawn of a rec center at an intersection where cars were passing by with regularity and speakers. There were many times when Shipton was talking, or Jody Evans was talking, or somebody else was talking, where a car 30 yards away was louder. And it's like, and I guess the idea behind that was, well, there's a more private event up the street at the organizer's house, and no detail has been overlooked on the presentation of that, but this is just something we can do in case anybody decides to show up and cover it. I don't know. It was puzzling.
That's unfortunate.
I
mean, how do you even hold a rally without like a megaphone or
Dude,
something?
We have zero resources, and we throw incredibly kick-ass parties.
We listen, y'all. I don't mean to like brag on us, but I'm going to brag on us. We do an amazing job with very little. Like I mean, everybody likes to think that we're grifters and we're like holding all these like high dollar fundraisers to like, lavish ourselves in
You
cocaine and
keep all the
hookers.
money, remember?
Yeah,
The
like
30,
we're Mindy money
the
bags,
3,000 pence and all that.
y'all. We like it's out of pocket mostly. I can't tell you. I shouldn't say that too loud. My husband's gonna get pissed. I spend a shit ton of money out of pocket. I mean, it's ridiculous. But we pull off some incredible events. Legit.
I did a fundraiser to go cover all this stuff. I still had to raise like
I
an
donated.
additional. Thank you, and I really fucking do. Like everybody that did, I can't thank enough. I can't. And I'm going to have to like do that all over again because we're about to release a GoFundMe to fund the show. We're doing the show full time, and until we get our Rockfin or whatever subscription count up to where it should be or it could be, we're gonna have to supplement that because it's just it's fucking full time, man. Full time is full time. At any rate, dude, like I went all the way broke traveling, and it's ridiculous how overwhelmingly expensive being an activist is.
It really is.
In terms of like trying to get places to hold these events to mostly travel. Like, dude, I don't even want to tell you how much the cheap seats a month in advance booked LA to DC was. Like it sucked.
Well, even just for me driving, it's like I don't know, probably like $240 just for gas. And then that doesn't include like, food and where I stay. Like, I mean, it's seriously
about that in gas going to LA and back. At no point did I pay less than $4.89 a gallon.
I mean, but at least you have a lot of support. I mean, your campaign for the, how do you say,
the billboards?
Yeah, and I'm always here alone. I'm always the lonely person that goes to the embassies to stand up there, and there's no support here. It's terrible. I see all your actions and all that, and sometimes I really cry that I don't have any support here to. I mean, I would like at least a group of 10 people, going to show some support, or I don't even raise funds because I don't have anything to do like big, so
right.
I know it's tough for you. I know you struggle, and I know the struggle is real. I know the campaigns to raise funds, but you are very lucky because you have a lot of support and you have an impact in people. We see the photos, and I mean, you got to meet Gabriel and John and all that, and it's never going to happen here. I mean, I've tried to bring some activists, and there's no support, and there's no one that cares if they come or not. So it's really discouraging, and it's difficult not to lose hope and still go out.
Yeah,
they're there. They need to know about you, and they don't know about you.
Yeah.
And that's really what it amounts to. Every time we go somewhere, like we wind up talking to somebody, like a homeboy at the fucking weed shop in Pasadena. Went in with pasta, started talking to him. By the end of the conversation, he knew who Julian Assange was, where he was being held, why he was being held, and had our show information written down on his fucking notepad. And like, who knows, dude, maybe he checks up on it, maybe he doesn't. But like, if we do that everywhere we go and
plant a seed,
and we do, if we do that everywhere we go, then it greatly increases the odds of somebody following up on it.
And that's like the Twitter thing. The Twitter thing where I was I need to do that again. When I was doing the matchmaking thing, I got like a couple different people to start going to the Boston events. I think I got somebody for Kendra in Denver, like
chapter in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Chapter in fucking Minnesota. Dude, I mean, when we started the whole Assange vigils. The idea was to become irrelevant because there would be so many other people talking about it, and there would be multiple decentralized chapters of activists throughout, the US and globally, who were holding events on their own. And like, we went from a dozen of us in DC the first time in February of 2020 to now a dozen, 13, 14 independent A4A or Julian Assange related chapters operating independent actions throughout the United States. And that took less than 2 years.
Yeah. And we're getting, 50 to 60 people out to events in DC.
And we did, like, you would be hard pressed finding a show on YouTube that is censored more than the Free Assange Vigil. I mean,
I don't think our subscriber count has moved in like a year.
But have you checked the A4A Rockfin?
Yeah, it's growing. Of course. Are you fucking kidding me? Like Rockfin, it's every time I check Rockfin, I'm like, what's happening? Like you just crossed 10K, which congratulations, by the way. That's amazing. I'm gonna check facts on the ground because we were like over 6 the last time I checked. And that's nuts, y'all. Like that's like almost 3 times YouTube, and we've been on Rockfin, since like April or something of I like it y'all, it's crazy how much different it is when you aren't getting fucked over by an algorithm. It really is. Let's see. Yeah, facts. It's we're 7,255.
Fuck yeah. Well, you were at 6,999 when I was on Nico's show earlier today. So we were like, okay, dude, somebody go be, facts on the ground 7,000 followers.
Yay, thanks guys. I missed that. Yay. Thanks. Yeah. But yeah, so that's like 300 new followers.
We're at almost 11,100 now.
That's crazy. How fast?
Is almost at 11K.
That's amazing.
And I'm not trying to pick on anybody in particular, but if you look down that list and you sort of weigh where someone's YouTube count is versus where their Rockfin is, and you would then, for example, look at our YouTube follow count and look at this motherfucker that doubles it. It speaks to the need for content that isn't just people talking about team sport politics and blowing their favorite Congress critter.
Yes, please, for the love of God. I'm so tired of all that crap. It's so annoying. But yeah, Rockfin it really is amazing. Like when you're not being fucked over by an algorithm, and it really is nuts. And over like 7,000.
Anybody gets all like, see, this is what Ally McDowell was talking about. No, dude, I am not hitching my entire life and or fortune to Rockfin.
No.
In no way, shape, or form. If that platform went away today, it would suck. But we would still have Odyssey, and we would still have DLive, and we would go and we would get ourselves on Super U, and we would go put our shit out.
I need to diversify more. Mad Mom Anon just said this show should be on Rockfin. I was trying to wait till I got to 1K to take it to them to see if they would let me have another channel, because I already have facts on Rockfin. Also, I'm just not an asker. Like, I'm really bad about asking people for things, and yeah. So if I get it to 1K, then I feel like I've hit a goal, and then it's okay. I don't know. That's my weird brain. So if we can get me to 1K, then I'll take it to Rockfin and get it on Rockfin, because yeah, YouTube's not going to let me be on here for very long, probably. I don't know. We'll see.
So your lovely chat moderator, Phenomenal Mysticism, said the YouTube algorithm is abhorrent and it needs to be fair. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. The YouTube algorithm is working exactly as it's supposed to, and it is only going to get more strict. on what it allows through in terms of content. And that's because YouTube is in function, if not on paper, inextricable from the US government. YouTube functions as a platform at the behest of and in partnership with the US government.
Yes.
So this is you're essentially asking your government to stop censoring you before showing everybody all of the different ways that your government fucks.
And we need to bitch about this, because today I saw people trying to tell or like talk about the fact that Facebook isn't the government. Facebook is the fucking government. Steve, I think you tweeted it out too.
I mean, even Zuckerberg has accepted that, you know?
Yes.
I mean, he openly says, like, yeah, I give all your data to the US government and the Israeli government, and I basically work for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to be naive.
I am so tired of people saying that they're private companies. No, they are not private companies anymore. They donate. I think Facebook donated like almost $7 million to Democrats in the 2020 election cycle. They are not a private company. They are directly intertwined. There's no gray area.
Subsidies.
Yes.
No, and they give your information to the worst of the worst, you know? The fucking Israeli government, like, what the
they
fuck?
spy on you. They, give you targeted ads. They, give your information to the worst people on planet Earth. Julian Assange warned us about this in like 2014, I think is when he said Facebook is the worst spy something
like company or
yeah. I mean, that was 2014. Dude saw this coming a mile away. And you don't get to pretend like you're some separate entity and that you're some private company when you're that intermeshed with the United States government. I mean, the Atlantic Council alone Henry Kissinger sits on that board. You know what I'm saying? That they are the government. The tech companies are your government. The government is the tech companies, and it's really no different than any corporation. I mean, all of these corporations, we're under complete corporate capture, and the social media giants are no different. That is your government. And that's why when they censor you on Twitter, on Facebook, I guess, technically, legally, it's not state censorship, but it's state censorship, 100%. There's no question. I don't think anybody with two brain cells could argue against that.
Well, and that's why you only see the shit libs and the G Hive and shit like that arguing for the idea that Facebook is merely this mom and pop social media company that will just by dint of sheer determination wound up with 3.8 billion users.
Right.
And people still thinking that government doesn't spy on them. It's ridiculous. Today, the Mexican government put a statement saying, we don't spy on journalists, we don't use Pegasus, and we don't spy on the opposition. And you're yeah, sure, we trust you. I take your word on that. Like, fuck you. I mean, it's printed. I think the New York Times put the story out, It's like, of course you're spying on us.
Yes. No, of course they are. I mean, y'all, it's not like we don't have Ed Snowden,
Yeah, he told us.
He totally told us. I mean, he showed us evidence of the fact that they're spying on us. They've admitted to it, like, openly, out loud. They talk about it all the time. They don't really try to hide
away with it.
Yeah.
Got away with it like that, like the war crimes and all that Julian exposed. Just like, yeah, we did that. We tortured some folks and, we got away with that. Sorry.
Isn't it amazing that a United States president went on TV and was just like, we tortured some folks. It's okay. No big deal.
I remember that day. It's like, really?
It's unreal. Like, that's normalized. Like, that's where we've managed to get in society, where it's normalized for a United States president to just like shrug his shoulders about torturing people.
Yeah, and because he was charming and everybody loves him, like it was okay that he said that.
Oh, yeah, it's totally normal. And they gave him a peace prize, and then he went on to bomb another peace prize recipient.
Yeah, like you said, we're waiting for Biden's Nobel Peace Prize any day now.
There's somebody said he needs his body count up a little bit more. I don't know. I think he's got a pretty decent body count. I mean, he was like, one of the architects of the Iraq War. So I think that gives him a pretty decent boost. He hasn't done anything super worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize
Just
recently.
bombed
Illegal
Syria and
bombing
Iraq
Syria, but I
recently.
don't know if there's enough bodies for that to be considered for a Nobel Peace Prize. I don't
Maybe
know.
not yet, but if you add the Obama years,
Yeah, that's what I'm
No.
saying. I think if you
that's a lot.
give him credit for stuff
Because
that he's done.
Obama drowned more civilians than Bush and the predecessors. So if you count all those civilians murdered by them, and now you start counting in this term, he will win the prize.
Yeah, he
eventually.
should. He's a strong
Yeah.
contender for sure. I think he's got a chance. So funny.
He's a winner.
He's exceeding expectations, Nat. Give him an A. He gets an A.
Are they going to give Kissinger a Lifetime Achievement Award?
Of course.
So I've been busy, and I really haven't had too many opportunities to dance on Donald Rumsfeld's grave.
Oh, let's do that.
But
Yes,
I
please.
do like I wanna say to 2021. I know I've had some harsh words for you, but this is very encouraging, and I believe 2021 that you have it in you. You have the
Kissinger.
to remove Henry Kissinger from the face
Do it.
of fucking.
And Bush,
I
please.
believe
too.
in you now, 2021, more than I ever have.
Team 2021. You can do it.
You have my support. 2021.
Yes, we're cheering you. We're doing. You
Believe
can
it.
do this. You can do it. I have faith.
Can there be like 3 at the same time? Like they say, like celebrities die by 3.
Threes. So
yes.
Rumsfeld, Kissinger, Bush. Bush would be your other one, Nat.
Yes,
I could take
would
Bush.
choose. Yeah, I would choose Bush.
Yeah, I could. Or Cheney.
Cheney. Okay, Cheney before Bush. Yes.
The Clintons aren't spring chickens.
True.
I would leave the Clintons after Cheney and.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Cheney. I don't know. Cheney
I
and
think
Clinton. Hillary
has more influence than Cheney does.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't. Yeah, probably.
I would like Mitchell too, the torture architect. I mean,
Yeah.
he's as guilty as Cheney and Rumsfeld and.
There's a lot of people that could be on that list.
Yes.
I have a whole tweet where I'm like, the wrong man is in prison, and it's
I know. I love your
yeah,
thread.
like that whole that we could start there. Let's start with that list. We'll move on from there. How about that?
You're missing Mitchell, so maybe you can add.
Yeah,
Mitchell.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
another day.
And I was trying to figure out a way to add Hillary Clinton because the whole thing was the wrong man is in prison, and I was like, somebody's going to yell at me for being sexist because I did the wrong man is in prison, and that's But there Condoleezza Rice. I could do Condoleezza Rice too.
Someone is going to get offended anyway, so yeah, do Condi and.
Yeah, no, people get mad at me over the dumbest shit, so I don't even care anymore. I really don't care anymore.
I had somebody going at me because I was.
I can barely hear you.
I'm trying to remember now. It was like this dumb, but I'm also really fucking scattered. And I crashed for like 11 hours a couple of days ago, and I haven't even recovered from that because it was just a body shutdown. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm getting good sleep in this. No, it was just like, nope, you're done. But somebody was coming at me for something just like so randomly weird. Like I made like an innocuous joke, and it wasn't even about anything serious. It was like even sports related. And this person would just not fucking leave me alone over it. And I'm like,
was it G-Hive?
Don't ever look at my timeline because boy, are you going to be upset.
Right? Like, they do know that you can just keep scrolling. Like, you can just keep scrolling. If there's somebody you don't like, mute them or block them and just keep scrolling.
Yeah,
like,
don't you ever block people, Steve? Like, just block and that's it?
I mute.
I mute a lot. There's some people I block.
Yeah, I'm not really big on blocking anybody.
I'm not either, but...
Why?
I'm just not.
No.
I'm not. I don't like it.
It pisses them off more if you mute them.
Yeah, and let them scream into the void. But there are some people who are genuinely abusive, and they're still abusive even after. Like, people stalk me from behind a block. They like have little alts that they go and get screenshots, and then they all share it in the group chat, and then they all spend the day, complaining about what I tweeted
Bella,
out.
Right?
Yeah,
my block list is entirely politicians now.
Yeah. No,
Like-
I block I try to block every ad that I see. I'm
me
on a
too.
mission. Yeah.
What
Like
is
somebody said, show me how many people you've blocked, because I guess you can check to see how many accounts you
Yeah,
blocked.
you
And I'm like,
it's like this big.
yeah, mine's long. I have a lot of people blocked, but it's all corporations. Like it's all like AT&T and Netflix and
That's funny.
you know. But there are some people that I have blocked for sure. Bella's one of them.
I routinely get like death threats and dox threats and shit
What?
like that, but I
Seriously?
don't. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Death
get that
threats?
too.
yeah.
What
Oh
the
yeah.
fuck?
I had
For
somebody the
like-
other day tweet at me,
Dude,
I'm
it's
watching you very closely. Okay.
Why?
Since
a great question.
September of last year,
Yeah.
really started getting the good hate mail.
Some of these people have been stalking me, and I don't say that lightly. I'm not kidding. I can tweet something, and within 3 minutes, they have a screenshot of it and they're tweeting about it. It's like they watch my timeline and wait for something to manufacture outrage over.
set to push notifications.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. And
Yeah.
then it's really creepy. Y'all, I'm just some chick in Ohio. I have no money. I have no power. I have no connections. I am no threat to you. You spend every day, all day worrying about what the fuck I tweet. Meanwhile, you don't do any organizing or activism. You don't hold any politicians accountable. You're not. What are you doing?
They're
It's
doing
so-
what they're supposed to
I
do.
know.
Which
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out, like, to other people, if you see that kind of shit, you should really ask yourself why. Because there are like a lot of people follow these turds, and I don't
Yeah, but
understand the
There
appeal.
are people that still think you're on the wrong side of history, you know?
Yeah. No, they're convinced that I'm like a Nazi or an alt-right or whatever because I talk
Or
to
a
people that they don't
Russian
like.
something.
Yeah, or I'm Russian or whatever. I honestly don't give a fuck. I will talk to whoever I want to. I'm a grown ass adult. And it's this whole thing where they think that if you talk to somebody, then that means that you're like co-signing their entire ideology and their belief system. And no, I had a conversation with somebody. I'm a grown up and I can handle having a civil discussion with somebody, even if I disagree with them on things. It's okay to do that. And you know, but these people are just baby brained, just do nothing turds. I mean, really, it's so painful. And you're right, Steve. They're obviously doing exactly what they're intended to do. They're obviously ops. They're obviously, I mean, I think some of them are just dumb and they get caught up in like you know, oh, they think Geoff's their friend or whatever. And so whatever he does, and you know, they just go along for the ride, and it's like this hive mentality or whatever. So I think some of them are like legitimate, genuine actors who just have, you know, allowed themselves to get pulled in. But I think most of these people have an agenda. It's like the Brock bots, you know, it's exactly what it is. And I don't think anything can make it more apparent than these attacks on the March for Medicare for All. You're calling yourself a progressive, and then you're trying to undermine direct action for healthcare. I mean, y'all, you're overplaying your hand. Tone it down a little bit. Obvious op is obvious.
When I get confused is when people with the Julian Assange profile pic start attacking you. That's when I get really confused. They are like, they call themselves activists, and then they're, I don't know if they're trolls or something, but those people really, really piss me off more than just random people.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Are
you talking about an Australian person who?
I don't know if it's an Australian person, but I tweeted you in private message once about this random person saying Julian was just like the sperm donor of the kids.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen this person. You know, she or he writes really weird Spanish, and so I blocked this person eventually because it started tweeting like racist comments on Guantanamo detainees. But I mean, like really crazy people sometimes, like, don't put Julian Assange on your profile pic, please. You know?
No, I get it.
Just a creepy pic, and that's fine, but not, you know, like hashtag.
But that's intentional. They're doing that. They're trying to discredit Julian and the movement and all that stuff. That's intentional too.
Oh.
But yeah, the people that drive me the most nuts are people who claim to be Julian Assange supporters who then trash other Julian Assange supporters. Like there's one chick who tries to claim that Action for Assange torpedoed Jen Perlman's telethon or whatever she had. Y'all, we canceled our show that day in solidarity. Like we didn't hold a vigil that day because we didn't want to take attention away from what she was trying to do. And we don't even like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not somebody that we enjoy. But in solidarity for what she was trying to accomplish, we canceled the show. But we tried to sabotage it, according to this person. That drives me crazy. And, it's somebody that doesn't do anything actually for the movement. They tweet a lot, which, listen, I tweet a lot. I'm not discounting Twitter as a tool. It's been very helpful in getting certain people to speak out or whatever and get eyes on things and share information and all of that stuff. But it drives me nuts when people attack activists who are doing the work, especially people who are not doing any work whatsoever. It's like armchair quarterbacking, and it drives me crazy. It really does.
Don't argue with other activists, but like this person, I just blocked it because it was making like racist comments on Guantanamo detainees. So I was like, no way I'm going to.
Yeah, that person's not a legit activist, though. No. I think that's somebody obviously trying to disrupt the movement for sure. But yeah, the fact that people are attacking grassroots activists on something like Medicare for All right now, it seems very obvious to me what that's about. I mean, is it just me, or is it like really just super fucking obvious?
All of that shit from the Nazi that was supposedly going to be
that wasn't ever actually invited,
that had no idea what the fuck anyone was talking about. Like, the one time somebody asked him about it, he was like, huh?
Yeah,
like that whole thing screams, we set this up in order to tank your entire thing. And now they've got a bunch of people to back out of it, or not a bunch, but at least a couple. Like
Booker, I know Booker backed out of it. Spineless coward.
Well, who knew?
Right. I know. No, I know. But I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out. You're a spineless coward. And then to try to use a scheduling conflict, fuck off. Be a man and just say what's up, and say that, these people made me, start to fear for my future, my career. And I don't, I got to be careful about who I associate with, despite the fact that we're trying to fight for fucking healthcare in the middle of a pandemic and people are dying. And, if you're like
they're running around talking about Cobra.
Right? I mean, if you're nitpicking support right now when we're trying to get health care for people and people are dying and you're, trying to sabotage that movement, you're not who you claim to be. You're not who you're pretending to be at all.
Perfectly honest with you right now, Misty and Nat, I'm not going to try and tank the march or anything like that. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from going, but fuck, dude, the last thing I want is the U.S. government in charge of my healthcare.
No, I agree with that, but I also think people should have healthcare. So calling attention to that is what I'm about.
Here is the same. I mean, I can't relate to the U.S. Healthcare system or whatever, but I mean, my dad died because the Mexican public health fucking system didn't work.
No,
so
yeah,
I know it
get.
sucks.
I'm not a big fan of government.
as with you. It sucks a lot.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of government. I don't want the government. No, y'all know. No. I think that the whole system needs to be, taken down. But people need to have healthcare, and so that's what I'm about calling attention to. And you can do that. Like, I don't have to necessarily agree 100% with, the direction that the people who are organizing the event want to see healthcare go. To also be able to stand with them in solidarity for the idea that people should be able to see a doctor if they're fucking sick. And so we disagree maybe on, tactics or strategy or the end game or whatever, but we have the same general consensus about the issue. And so I can work with those people. And, I don't know why that's so controversial.
Other, maybe we don't agree in everything, but we respect. You never attack other activists on their different point of views on some subjects, We have to respect each other.
Well, there's shit that Steve and I I'm sure have disagreements on certain things. And, I'm sure that I have disagreements with Fiorella, probably not so much with Fiorella. We pretty much agree on most things, but there's stuff that I don't agree with. I don't agree with Magnus. I don't agree with Andrew and everything. It's okay. Again, I just don't know. Do these people just want to sit alone in a room and just talk to themselves and never get anything done. Because if you are isolating yourself to the point, like seriously, are they like making you fill out a questionnaire? And if you suffer from wrongthink on any one issue, then they can't work with you on anything else. It's a mind-boggling thought process. No, I know that's exactly. And again, I don't think these are genuine actors. I think that there are some people who like really do buy into that like line of thinking. I think that the people who are trying to sabotage Medicare for all are not those people. I think they have a very specific agenda. But like I get, if you are not somebody who is capable of having difficult conversations with people that you don't agree with, that's okay. Not everybody can do the same thing. We all have our own part to play, but stop fucking attacking people who are willing to do that work, who are willing to step outside of their bubble and interact with people that they don't agree with and try to change minds and try to find places where we can agree so that we can get the numbers to actually get something done. That drives me crazy. You don't have to agree with my methods or my tactics or my, language, or you don't have to agree with any of that stuff, but attacking me just because I have a different methodology than you is just so counterproductive for anybody who actually wants to get anything done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just really infantile to me. I don't know. It really does just drive me nuts. And it's something that I get attacked for constantly. I know, Steve, I don't know. Do you really get attacked for that? Because I don't feel like I don't know if you really
like you get attacked enough.
I mean, there are some people who, like, for whatever reason, have painted me as like someone who has betrayed the progressive movement, or I got called gateway to the alt-right a few weeks ago. That was something that cracked me up. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm the gateway to the alt-right. I'm introducing my more libertarian friends to like Reverend Annie Chambers and shit like that. Like I'm just a dude who wants to be able to like fish off of his own deck.
Right.
I don't get to do that until like we have a number of things secured, and that's either going to be a legitimate free press and a safeguarded, legitimate fourth estate, or it's going to be mutual aid networks and trade networks established with fucking, independently ran communities outside major cities, which will become smart cities and will be places where 100% surveillance of the entire human organism and all things organic and inorganic for fun and profit will be baked into your existence. And fuck, no, not me. Not me.
No, I get it. We keep joking about the slow news calm day. Not really, not really joking.
Dude,
but
next week I'm in Humboldt.
Yeah. No.
I'm building like this month. I'm starting to build a couple of cabins and studio.
Yeah, it's necessary. Like people think that that's very overly dramatic. It's not. I don't know if y'all have been paying attention to what's going on around you, but things are not going great. Empire's collapsing around us. I've been saying that for years, and it's gonna be really bad.
They say Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It didn't collapse in a day either.
No, and it's going to be a very long, very painful process. A lot of people are going to get hurt. And it sucks, because it doesn't have to be that way. It didn't have to be this way. It really did not have to be this way. And I think it's probably too late to turn around at this point. Honestly, I know that sounds very Debbie Downer, but I think mostly all we can do is just like hold the fuck on at this point.
And there's a number of different ways to do that. Like I've always tried to make this point. It doesn't have to be my way. It doesn't. Like Kendra, dude. Kendra's like, we could buy a town that was abandoned and we could take it over. And I'm like, I'm not moving that part of the country, chick, but I will find people who want to do that and you will have support, and I'll come out and build some shit for you. But like you could theoretically capture a local government to whatever limited extent you can, make legislation that makes your life a little bit easier within your community. Give that a shot. Certainly. You have to take over all of it all at once, or at least like 2/3 of it, and have funding equal to that of whatever your equivalent of Santa Cruz's, real estate, hospitality, and tech industries are, because that's who runs this community. But it's possible. It is.
It is. I mean, I think everybody's just going to have to figure out what works best for them, and their families or whatever in your area. I mean, I highly recommend, like, right now, just if anybody gives a shit about like what my opinion is, like, talk to your neighbors, make friends with your neighbors, make sure that they are watching your back and you're watching their back, learn to grow food, share it with your community. Like, all of that stuff is going to be really important moving, like, I can't say it enough. Mutual aid is going to be so crucial moving forward. It really is. So like somebody like Rome, support what he's doing. Although not right now, because that motherfucker needs to take a break. He needs a break, like a long break. He needs to take care of himself for a little while. But find people who are doing that kind of stuff. There's a guy in Akron named Ryan, who is doing a lot of mutual aid stuff. He has a YouTube channel. He's trying to get the word out about that. Like, find people like that who are doing that kind of work and support the shit out of them. Because that's nobody's coming to help us. No politician gives a shit about you. They're not coming to help you. They're not going to do anything for you. It's up to us. Like, we're going to have to take care of each other. It's
And
really
look,
the only option we
if
have.
a politician wanted to give a fuck about you, they couldn't.
Right.
The flat the fuck out can't. Like, the amount of institutional hurdles that are in place in order to stop something like BlackRock or Berkshire Hathaway or foreign hedge funds from buying up hundreds of thousands to millions of single family homes across the US in order to
Bill Gates buying farmland,
a permanent renter class. Like, we have the people that own our politicians are telling you will own nothing and like it. And you're going to look at government, the institution wholly owned by these people, and say, we'll just vote in the right people.
Yeah, you can't vote your way out of this, fams.
You can't legislate your way out of an oligarchy.
Mm-mm.
You don't get to vote your way out of an oligarchy. That's not how that works. The Congress, the White House, that's the government we're allowed to see.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're allowed to see it, it's a performance.
I call it's a soap opera with psychopaths. It's like a reality TV show that they are presenting you as entertainment while they kill you. That's essentially what it is. It's professional wrestling. It's all a show. I mean, what's his name? Justin Amash or however the fuck you say his name. He gave an interview with somebody where he was talking about, congressional hearings. It's all scripted. The big dramatic speeches that you see, that's like you're handed a piece of paper. Where you're told,
who told you about this too in fucking 2018? This guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a dude who came onto my show named George Tierra, and he was like, yo man, I worked at a fucking Hollywood script factory. I was a script writer, and the president of that company contracted with the DNC, and all of those zingers and all of those moving speeches and shit straight out of a fucking Hollywood script house. All of them, well in advance. My dude helped co-write the 4 acceptance speeches for the Democratic Party vice presidential nomination in 2016. It was Tim Kaine, Elizabeth Warren, Andrew Gillum, and somebody else. I can't remember who the 4th person was, but Andrew Gillum had the fast track. He did, to even be like considered. They knew that he was set to be a rock star for the establishment. And unfortunately, his own vices caught up with him, and he was not allowed to fulfill his potential as DNC Rising Star. But, we all make mistakes one day at a time, buddy. One day at a time.
Oh, fuck that guy. Seriously. Yeah, y'all, you can't, I don't know. So I saw somebody earlier today that tweeted on or commented on one of Nick's tweets, Socialist MMA, something about that people who are on the left are too negative about other people on the left who want to try to transform the Democratic Party from the inside. And fuck off with that noise, y'all. I mean, Bernie Sanders and the
how long is it going to take? Because
right?
they've been saying this shit for at least 4 years, and not a goddamn thing has changed.
No, something has changed.
Shit over.
Something has changed. The party is worse. They're worse now than they've ever been. They elected Joe Biden, Captain Crime Bill, in the middle of like huge protests about police brutality. We elected Joe Biden, or selected Joe Biden, but that was who the Democratic Party put forward. They're worse now.
4 days ago, and was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to be funding the fuck out of the police."
Yeah, they're worse now. You failed. If you were one of those, we're going to reform the party people, you fucking failed. There's no nice way to put it. You failed. It did not happen. It's not even close. They're worse now than they've ever been. Look at the authoritarian shit that they're putting out right now. They want to call everybody a domestic violent extremist. Way to go. You really did push Joe Biden to the left. Congratulations. No, it's over. I was willing. I mean, I was annoyed by it. I waited. Yeah, I honestly, I was nice about it until like 2018-ish. I tried to be like, okay, like we may disagree again, like we may disagree on the strategy, but no, you've been given your shot and it did not work. It did not work. And we just don't have time. Again, people are literally dying, suffering, dying. It's like, that's not a joke. That's not hyperbolic. That's not overly dramatic. That's what's happening. And you all are like still playing this stupid ass game where you think that, we can just phone bank Carter. And, if we just get Nina Turner elected, that's just not happening.
And bringing it back to
everyone, I'm going to be a district
to him on a stupid ass charge. Like, what the fuck?
I know, dude. I'm honestly
pushing these pricks left. I don't know what the fuck left is in these people's minds, but it ain't where I'm at.
No, here's the thing. Here's the problem. The squad did not pull anybody to the left. The squad pulled the left to the right. That's what happened. That's what's happening. They're not pulling Joe Biden to the left. They're not pulling the Democratic establishment to the left. They're not doing they're pulling people who may have been left to the right. That's what's happening. Yeah. And y'all are cheering that shit on and making excuses and justifications and, getting into fights with people who are actually trying to make change and fight for change. You're getting mad at those people for criticizing those who are destroying an actual people's movement. That's what's happening.
Before the squad, though, because in 2016, I'm sorry. That's not even right. But you saw the transition to like full shit lib mentality in the 2020 election when Bernie was running again, and you heard the exact same arguments from the Bernie people that you had heard from the Hillary people 4 years ago.
Yo, watching Bernie people turn into the thing that they claim to hate was one of the most depressing things I've ever witnessed. I mean, they literally became hillbots. That really happened.
And it was like watching a Zamboni run over a fucking like whole box of kittens.
Seriously. I mean, yes, it's still, if I think about it, it makes me really sad.
My weed pen while sitting down.
I don't know. You dropped a bunch of shit earlier and knocked some shit over. Did you?
I know that you know what? I should go anyway. I should get.
Yeah, we should wrap. We need to wrap up anyway. I try to get Sleepy out of here, by 9-ish, because dudes. And he also just woke up not long ago.
Yeah.
Sorry. I forgot it was Wednesday.
No, it's all right. Like, I'm just giving you shit. That's what I do.
I was ready, dude. Steve was
gonna jump in and play Sleepy. He was like,
I was fire
Sleepy
up StreamYard and fucking get that shit.
Sleepy knows that I'm a spaz, and so
you have my phone number, Misty. If not, I'll give it to you.
I called you on Signal. or not Signal.
Oh, I didn't.
Element.
It's not on my phone, so I'll shoot.
Okay.
I'll shoot you my phone number.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm a spaz. So if if you're late or whatever, like I immediately start panicking and because I don't know what the fuck I'm
panic
doing.
about an hour
panicking.
ahead of time
Yeah.
because I know how hard he is to wake up.
Yeah. So I'm like sending a message on Element to Steve, like, have you heard from Sleepy? I'm supposed to do bitch in like 10 minutes and I've heard. I'm like freaking out. And he's like, no, but I can jump in and play Sleepy. And I'm like, and then that's when you message me back and you're like, oh, I'm here. And I'm like, okay. Phew.
I mean, I was kind of awake. I just didn't want to get the hell up.
I hear you, dude. If you need to teach me how to do this shit for myself, so that way you don't have to.
I'm working on making videos for that.
Okay, good. Make them really like idiot proof.
That's the plan.
Okay, good. And don't be mad when I have a million questions before I figure it out.
And it won't be one big ass video. I'm going to separate it out.
Okay, good. Yeah, like I think I can figure it out. Like I am pretty smart, but I'm not makes my brain hurt. Okay, so Nat, is there anything that you want to mention about X or anything that people should know or that we missed or that I guess we should mention that you can write to X.
You can write to X. Don't forget the Mexican president handed him to the U.S. authorities illegally. And yeah, I hope people write. I know people are very lazy to write letters. I never get people to write to Julian. They think it's very complicated, but it's not. It's really easy and it's not expensive to send letters to people that will, I think, find strength in the words they receive from you. Maybe not a long letter, but I think it's really important. I always say that it's really important for them to receive our words of support and love. So please write to him. He's not used to not being around his boys, and I hope he doesn't get depressed. I saw the video he sent to me, and he seemed okay, but I'm sure he's not that okay. So please write to him, and if you can organize something, even if it's only you, like me, it's only going to be me, but please do something for him. Don't forget that he's there, because I don't want him to feel that he's forgotten.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Poikin, and what do you have coming up? Anything you want to promote while you're
here? Tomorrow I'll be on in about 45 minutes with Slow News Day and Glory Jones. And we've got a whole lot to talk. We haven't really done a Slow News Day in like 2 weeks because 2 weeks ago, yesterday, I flew out to Colorado. So the actual Slow News Day show didn't really happen because it was live protest coverage or we were doing ABB things, but like we haven't got together to go over some new shit in a while. So that's going to happen. Tomorrow, we are going to be graced by the presence of the one and only Robbie Receipts, Mr. Robbie Yeager. He will be back on the show Friday. Get your shit together. 8 p.m. on the West Coast, 11 p.m. on the East Coast. Sunday, you guys know how I get pissed when there's somebody on the interwebs who's like, I'm the only guy who does that, when it's clear that they're not. Slow News Day is the only show that has ever conducted a dual interview with Whitney Webb and Johnny Vedmore. And this Sunday at 10 a.m. on the West Coast and 1 p.m. on the East Coast, broadcast through all of our platforms, including Aftermath FM and iHeartRadio for this particular 2-hour show. Whitney and Johnny will be back on together, maybe tag teaming if the kiddo is giving them shit, if they don't have a sitter. But we joined once again by them. Have great shows coming up. Reed Coverdale coming back on the program. Adam Kokesh, Pat Militic, and Jeffrey Wilson, the Conspiracy Farm. Pat is former MMA champ. Jeffrey Wilson, his co-host, and Burmis call MMA in Iowa every Friday night together. good bunch of dudes, opinions that I definitely don't agree with on a number of things. Should be an interesting show. The woman who wrote the wonderful like Idiot's Guide to the Great Reset, who goes by the just fantastic handle stage name, she's a musician too, Tessa Fights Robots. She will be on in about a week and a half. All kinds of good shit coming up. And then of course July 20th, noon, San Jose, the Peckham Federal Building, and anywhere else anybody wants to hold a solidarity action. We have a day of action, rally and support for Commander X. We are going to focus on the Biden administration's war on whistleblowers and war on activists, and how this really does seem to be the Biden administration settling old scores from back in the Obama era, because of the number of people who have been targeted, who were around back then and who had gained whatever degree of prominence through their work back then. So it's fascinating what the hit list appears to be, and who the targets are. And it's all people who have been trying to dedicate their careers to exposing the crimes of this state and others. Also, slownewsdayshow.com. Thanks everybody who got to us.
I apologize for the site's like super old right now. I'm still migrating to a whole new server, so that will be up to date within a few days here.
Sleepy works hard, y'all. And speaking of which, you can go to Sleepy's Twitter page at abortu, ABORTU. He has a buy me a coffee link in his bio. As I always say, please go and buy Sleepy a coffee, because he works really hard for, I know I say this all the time, he works really hard for everybody. He does lots of things. I couldn't do this without him. So definitely go and support Sleepy Josh. You guys know you can find me on Twitter all the time. I also have Facts on the Ground with Jesse Zerwell. We just released a marathon interview with Dontel from Unapologetic. It's like a 3-hour interview. It was so much fun, though. I could talk to that dude forever, literally. I mean, we kind of did. It's an awesome interview. I know it's long. I'm going to try to get clips, but I really hate listening to myself. So I'll have to like work myself up for that. And then next week on Bitch, 7:00 on Wednesday, we're going to have the ladies from FHL. I'm really excited. Minus Jackie. Jackie has to work. So we're going to have Meg, Sabby, and Afeni. And I'm really excited. It's going to be an awesome show. So definitely check that out Wednesday at 7. And I think that's all. Oh, and just a shout out to Daniel, who's doing the billboard campaign in North Carolina right now. I paused the Ohio one to kind of make space for other people to do them in different areas, so we can reach out to different demographics. He's doing an amazing job. Definitely go donate to that if you can. I would say probably at the beginning of August, I'm going to start the Ohio one up again, because there is a billboard right outside of the Horseshoe, which is our college football stadium in Columbus, Ohio, which is a amazing location. I mean, especially considering last year we didn't really have like a full like real football season with fans in the stands and tailgating and all that stuff. They're bringing all that back this year, and there's going to be a shit ton of people out there. So I really want to get that billboard. So I'm probably going to start that back up at the beginning of August-ish, so that we can get that set up. I would love to do it for the full 12 weeks of football season, but that billboard's pretty expensive given its location. So if nothing else, I would really just like to do like the final 4 weeks of the season, because that's when all the big rivalry games come up. The Michigan game, et cetera, et cetera. So I would love to do that. So watch out for that to be popping back up at the beginning of next month. But definitely for now, donate to Daniel's campaign for North Carolina. He's doing a great job. I think he's got one up already. He's working on the second one. So if you can donate to that, that's a really easy way for us to try to get more eyes on the case for Julian Assange. So I think that's all I have for everybody. So you. Definitely, yeah. Thanks, Nat, for coming on. Thanks, Steve, for jumping in. I love that you're just like willing to jump in like moment's notice. And Nat, thank you for everything that you've done for X, and making sure that
Where's your cape? Where's her cape?
What?
Dude.
Where's your cape? You do need a cape. Nat is pure sunshine and joy. I love her.
I saw your cape, Misty.
It's right there.
I tried to make Pasta wear it. Oh, okay. It was the other one then.
It's right there. There's my cape, and there's all my trolls will love it. I don't know where I'm going. That's my mask that Magnus made.
We got to get a Commander X cape for Nat, dude.
Yes. We need to make that. I'll make that happen.
I
can
have
do
my
that.
coffee mug now.
I love it. Yeah,
Oh,
you need a cape. I'm telling you, girl, it feels really good to wear a cape. It makes you like public speaking suddenly wasn't so bad.
thank you.
It was great.
Thank you so
Anyways,
much.
okay. Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you check in next week for the ladies from FHL. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll see you then. Bye guys.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Josh.
See you, Nat.
Bye. Bye, Steve.